Well, hello, friends. I hope you're having a great day today. Man, we had an awesome time in the house of the Lord yesterday. Just always so wonderful to come together and worship together with people of like faith like that in the house of the Lord. And we had a great time yesterday. I hope you were here. If you were not, I want you to go ahead and make plans to be with us next Sunday. It's always great when we come together to worship in our Father's house. Well, welcome to Monday's edition of Take 5. It's a brand new week. I started a new series yesterday. I know I preach a lot in series, but it's just, man, there's such power in series because you can lay down so much groundwork and you can expand the subject and the thought and get everything that God is speaking to us, at least for the moment, you can do that. So we started a series yesterday. It's probably going to be about 3 weeks long, and we entitled it Faith Like Noah. And that's what I want us to pattern our faith after, at least right now, is this life of this man named Noah. He is my absolute favorite Bible character. The events that happened in his life just speak of a person that endures, a person that stays till the very end. We've all seen those Elijahs and Elishas that were a flash in the pan. You know, Elijah, he called fire down from heaven one day, and the next day he was running for his life. So we've all seen that, but something about Noah, he's just a guy that stays. He endures until the very end. I just think he is the epitome or a picture of faith. And I want us to learn some things from his life. So I want to read from Hebrews chapter 11. I'll read verses 4 through 7. I probably won't read these verses again the rest of the week for the sake of time. I just want to set this thing up and read some verses and mention a few names that we will talk about during the week. Here we go. By faith, Abel offered to God a more acceptable sacrifice than Cain, though through which he was commended as righteous, God commending him by accepting his gifts. And through his faith, though he died, he still speaks. By faith, Enoch was taken up so that he should not see death. And he was not found because God had taken him. Now, before he was taken, he was commended as having pleased God. And without faith, it's impossible to please God. For whoever would draw near to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him. Now here's our character. Now Noah. By faith, Noah, being warned by God concerning events as yet unseen, in reverent fear constructed an ark for the saving of his household. By this he condemned the world and became an heir of the righteousness that comes by faith. Now in this passage of Scripture, Noah has been placed in due order of time after Abel and Enoch, characters which we will mention here and there this week and next week. The Bible said something particular about these three ancient believers, and it is that they each pleased God. They lived during a time when mankind was growing continually evil and men were constantly turning their hearts away from God. But these men pleased God. And the Bible said that faith was the key. So if faith is what pleases God, then faith has to be more than just believing. We've had it wrapped up in that, and we've told people for years, all you have to do is believe. All you have to do is believe. All you have to do is believe. Well, no, all you have to do is have faith. But faith is more than just believing. It's more than just an imagination. It's more than just a thought. It's more than just a feeling. Faith is more than that. The Bible said that the devils believe and tremble, so that it's more than that. Faith has to be more than that for it to be complete. And that's what I want us to learn from the life of Noah. I want us to be pleasing to God, and if faith is the only way to please God, then I want us to learn how from the life of this ancient man of God. Now, this period of time before the flood was called the antediluvian age. It lasted about 1,500 years from the time of the creation and Adam and Eve being put in the garden up until the time of this flood. And in that 1,500-year period of time, God grew tired of the evilness of mankind. The reason that this flood, this catastrophe and annihilation came to the whole earth is found in Genesis. Chapter 6, verse number 5 actually says this: the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was evil continually. Verse 11 and 12 say, now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. And God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. That day sounds a whole lot like the day that we live in now. I believe this is two parallel worlds, actually. I believe the world prior to the flood, the antediluvian age, I believe that mankind, from reading the scriptures, they were a very advanced society. Civilization was moving forward. Mankind was smart, but he was smart and intelligent in his own doings and not in the things of God. And that's all he sought after, was his own way. And that leads him into the passageway of sin. I believe it's a parallel picture of where we are today. Our civilization is advanced, we're intelligent, we're smart, but we're smart and intelligent in our own ways and devices, and that is leading us in the same path of sin that they were then. I believe the world is just as evil and wicked and violent today as it was then, and all you have to do is read the newspaper and watch the news or flip through social media, and you can see that is a fact. The wickedness was so great and continual during this antediluvian age that in the original Hebrew language it was considered to be chronic and constant instead of sporadic. This means that every thought, every idea, every motive, every imagination, and every deed was an expression of the fallen and deprived state of man. The Bible went on to say that the Lord regretted that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. So the Lord said, I will blot out man, whom I've created from the face of the land, man and animals and creeping things and birds of the heavens, for I'm sorry that I have made them. God regretted that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved his heart, and he lived with that grieved heart for 1,500 years before he finally moved to judge this world. This is actually a big word I'm going to throw on you. It's an anthropomorphic expression that basically gives something that's non-human or divine human characteristics so that we can understand it. We do it with all of our nursery rhymes. You think of the little train that could and stuff like that. We give these non-living things and non-human things human characteristics so that we can understand them, and so that we can understand God. The writer of Genesis tells us here that God was grieved at his heart for how he had created mankind in such a perfect environment, and now man has turned his entire life over to the chaos of sin. These wicked actions, we've got to know, didn't catch God by surprise. He knew that mankind was going to do it, but he loved us so much that he grieved over our actions to turn away. He loved mankind so much then that he grieved over their actions, and I believe he does us just the same today. This kind of evil has to be punished. It cannot go unpunished, or God would not be just. And so God promised to destroy everything off of the face of the earth except Noah and his family. Genesis 6:8 said, this is the reason Noah survived. He found favor in the eyes of God. That's what I want to talk about this week, is how did Noah find favor? How was Noah pleasing to God in the midst of a society that was totally evil and totally against God? How did Noah find favor to such a degree that he was spared the judgment to come? That's what we're going to talk about for the next few weeks. Well, hey, I got to get out of here. It's been good being with you today. I look forward to being with you tomorrow on Tuesday's edition of Take 5. Until then, God bless you and have a great day.